Well, good morning, everybody. And it's a Saturday morning, and it's a very, very nice morning here in Lake City. So we're being blessed. It is the 19th of September, and I realized I didn't shut my sound off on my phone. Hold on one second while I do that because we had enough interruptions yesterday. I don't want to repeat that nonsense again today. There. Sounds off on everything, phone and computer. And I apologize for the interruption we had at the end yesterday, and I had to quickly wrap that up because of that. But at any rate, let's jump into where we left off yesterday. We left off with Jesus healing that paralytic man, and was trying to talk about the faith. The real faith was with the men helping their friend, that they wouldn't leave him behind, that they weren't going to succumb to that all too easy thing to say, oh well, we tried and we'll give up. So we don't want to fall into that. So that's kind of wrapping up yesterday's, where I unfortunately got interrupted and I wasn't able to continue on. But today we are looking at the call of Levi, or Matthew, depending on which gospel you're in. He's Levi or Matthew. We believe, don't know for sure, but we believe that it's the same person, that it's one of the disciples, that Levi is in fact Matthew, who is accredited with writing the first book in the New Testament, the Gospel of Matthew. So let's look at Luke's Gospel, chapter 5, verses 27 to 32 is what we're going to bite off today. After this, he went out and saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up, left everything, and followed him. Then Levi gave a great banquet for him in his house, and there was a large crowd of tax collectors and others sitting at the table with them. The Pharisees and their scribes were complaining to his disciples, saying, "Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus answered, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners to repentance." So here we have Levi sitting there minding his own business, apparently, and Jesus comes by and calls him, "Follow me." And Levi does it. Matthew does it, apparently without any hesitation whatsoever. It's reminiscent of earlier with the fishing with Peter and John and James and Andrew, where Jesus says, leave your nets, come fish for men, and they just leave. Though it's a little different. I think personally that Matthew's is even more poignant about how he's all in all of a sudden, that how quickly he buys in and how quickly he just leaves behind what appears to be perhaps a considerable amount of money. What's going on here is Peter and James and John, it appears they're fishing with their father Zebedee, and that they were working in partnership. And so one could believe that they have left people behind to run the business that could hire others to replace their labor on that workforce of fishing. But that's not the case for Matthew, Levi. Here, the tax collectors, as we've talked before, the Romans would come in and have a head tax collector, which would have been like Zebedee. You remember the story, or Zacchaeus, rather, not Zebedee, Zacchaeus, the story of wee little Zacchaeus. He would have been a head tax collector. He would have been more wealthy, very wealthy man. But the head tax collector would be hired by the Romans to collect the taxes in this area. Basically, the Romans would take, we need this much money collected. Can you do it? And some say that there was a bidding process that was done. I'm not sure that I've only heard that from one source though. But then they would say, okay, we can do that, and they would go out and attempt to collect extra taxes from the region to make a profit, because they're in it for business. Likewise, those head tax collectors would ratchet it out and hire other people, basically not necessarily hire them. They would sell them the opportunity to collect taxes in this area. So you're purchasing that right to collect taxes, and your hopeful gain is to collect more than what you had to give to your higher up. So as it filters down, that price tag just keeps ratcheting up, because everybody wants a piece of the pie. Everybody wants a profit. And so as it filters down. Now, we don't know what level Levi asked, but at some point he's fallen into this scale, and he must have been doing somewhat all right, because he's having a large banquet, a great banquet actually is how it's translated in the NRSV. So he's sitting there collecting taxes, but he's already laid out the money for those taxes. He's collecting money to repay himself and to hopefully gain some profit. But he's a Jew, and that's not what he's collaborating with the Romans, the occupation. That puts him in a position of being a sinner. Plus, he's in contact with Romans, which makes him unclean. On top of it, so he's a sinner and he's unclean, and so he's really got a double whammy. So he's not going to be really welcomed back into society very well, is he? Because he's done extorting basically money from these folks that he's collecting money from. But he's already laid out the money to collect. He leaves his tax booth. He leaves behind his tax business. He's not recouping that money that he's laid out. So he's walking away from all that, whatever he has put out for that taxes. So he's leaving something very hard and fast behind. It's not like my labor can be replaced and my family will continue on. Granted, there'll be a hardship from having to pay labor rather than you doing it, but it's a little different. It's an immediate thing. And so I do see Levi's or Matthew's faith here as being really profound. And then, of course, we have them at this great banquet. And he's so all in, he's invited all his friends that are also tax collectors. And these people know what it's like to be put upon by the Jewish people. The Romans don't like them because they're Jews, and the Jews don't like them because they're working for the Romans. But yet, he somehow convinced these people to come to this banquet and to see Jesus, even though he's, what kind of a sales pitch does Matthew or Levi have here to get those people to come? Did he tell them, hey, I'm going to have Jesus come talk to you, and by the way, he's going to talk you into, like, I just left my business, my tax business behind. You want to leave yours behind too? Wow, that's profound. That's impressive. Let's put it that way. And of course, Jesus is saying he's not come for the healthy. He's come for the sick. Of course, there is some irony in that it seems that the scribes and the Pharisees are not necessarily the ones that are well. They're just the ones that don't recognize their sickness. And I think many of us, if not all of us, are that way. We can be very easily convinced to see everybody else's sickness. Remember that the whole log in your eye, which is coming up down the road here. It's easy for us to spot that. But not to look upon ourselves and to focus on ourselves. We don't like to do that. I don't like to do that. You don't like to do that. None of us like to do that. But Jesus kind of likes to put that mirror in front of our face. And he does that every day. So I'm going to leave you there. We're going to leave poor Levi, who's left is not poor. He's blessed now. He was a poor Levi, and he was there in his wealth, but now he's found true wealth. So with that, have a blessed Saturday, and please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. And tomorrow is church. Remember, we'll live stream at 10. If you're in the local area, I don't know. We'll probably be outside if the weather holds. I don't know. We'll find out in the morning when we gather. In the morning we'll gather and decide whether the weather's up to being inside or outside, and then I'll do a one call. So, and it'll be on Facebook. So watch for it on Woodlawn's face page or on mine. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful, and blessed Saturday.